started with today's lesson. Have you done your check-in and meditation? Have you warmed up your body and your voice? If you haven't done those things yet, let's pause here and take a few minutes to prepare for our work together. Today we'll be reading Chapter 3 of Gretel and Hansel. Are you ready? Let's play in a book. Chapter 3, Gretel and Hansel. "Ow!" Hansel cried out as the elevator lurched and he was thrown into his sister. "Ouch!" Gretel replied, rubbing her elbow. By the time the elevator bounced and then stopped on the 13th floor of the abandoned high-rise, Gretel and Hansel felt a bit banged up. Their tummies growled loudly. "Wow," Hansel said as the elevator doors opened. "Wow," Gretel agreed. They were blown away. The hallway that stretched before them was astounding. It was like a rainbow and made entirely of the most delicious, sweetest food. The ground was made of brownies sprinkled with powdered sugar. The walls were made of gingerbread decorated with icing and candies of all sorts. Their tummies growled even louder. The two frightened and hungry children, with eyes aglow, bounded out of the elevator. They gouged out huge pieces of the floor and walls and ate their way down the hall. These brownies are almost as good as the ones Mama used to make," Hansel said through a mouthful. Without a doubt," Gretel added, also through a mouthful. They paused, catching their breath, when they heard a strange voice call out from behind the door numbered 13. "Nibble, nibble like a mouse. Nibble, nibble at my house." The door slowly creaked open, revealing a sweet old woman dressed in a long flowing gown. She looked somehow familiar. "House guests," she called out delightedly. "How many of you are there? My eyesight is a bit poor these days. Oh, I've been cooking all day," she announced, escorting them into her apartment. "I have pizza and chicken wings and spaghetti and a big bowl of clam chowder and deep-fried cauliflower. Are you kids hungry?" She scurried off into her kitchen. There was the clatter and clang of dishes, and then she returned with a mountain of mouth-watering food. "Chow down!" she howled. Gretel and Hansel looked at one another. They should have known better. But the old woman had shown them nothing but kindness, and they were so terribly hungry. Perhaps, each child thought, after dinner she would help them find their way home. So they chowed down like they had never chowed down before. Everything, even the cauliflower, was outstanding. "I'll have another slice of pizza," Hansel said. "And I'll have some more chicken wings," Gretel added. "Oh, and maybe a bit more of that tasty cauliflower, too." "Have as much as you like. After all, you are growing children. There's plenty of food, and you could both use a bit of fattening up," she offered with a dreamy look in her eyes as she scurried back to her kitchen. Gretel and Hansel looked at one another again, each thinking that this old woman was a bit strange, but also very nice to feed them and offer them shelter for the night. "Oh, you sweet little children," the old woman said as she licked her lips. "You look so drowsy." She hurried off and returned with pillows and blankets. "Thank you," they both mumbled as their eyes closed and they drifted into a deep and peaceful sleep. The sweet smile left the old woman's face and was replaced with a scowl. "They'll both need some more fattening up without a doubt," she said in a low voice as she cleared away the mound of bowls and plates and returned to her kitchen. Outside the kitchen was a very large balcony with a large grill and a fabulous view of downtown stretched out below. The old woman looked out on the crystal clear night, her eyes locked on the oversized grill. "I do love a cookout. Those two spoiled brats came just in time. After all, my powers are weakening. I can hardly see a thing, and nothing restores my powers like a good old-fashioned cookout." She went to a shelf full of recipe books and pulled one that looked well used. Eyes glowing, she carefully pored through the book, squinting to read each page. Finally, she stopped on a tattered page and pointed. "I know!" she shouted. Her frown was replaced with a smile as wide as any clown's. "Extra spicy boy barbecue. My favorite." Let's think about what we've read. Even though the old woman is acting really nice when they come into her apartment, she is planning to eat Gretel and Hansel. Can you find lines in the script that might give the kids a clue about her plan? Try to find a line or two that are clues. Think about it, and if you'd like, find someone at home to share your thoughts with, or write a paragraph identifying the clues in the text that let us know the witch wants to eat the kids, and draw a picture that illustrates what you wrote. Now that we've read the story and done some thinking about it, we can act it. You'll find this week's script in the reader below this video. Remember, this week we are working on Act 3, so you'll scroll past all the Act 1 and Act 2 scripts. Try starting with the Act 3 Level 1 script. If it feels easy to you, scroll on down to Act 3 Level 2, which is longer. If you're feeling like a superstar and you want an extra challenge, try the Act 3 Level 3 script, which is even longer. It's the same story, but with bigger words and longer sentences. Usually when we act, we work with a partner or a group. You can ask someone at home to read with you, or try reading by yourself using different voices for each character. I'm so glad you came to play in a book today. Next week we'll find out what happens in Act 4. Until then, happy acting, and I'll see you again soon.